Hi, welcome to another episode of Transcend, the Thinking Christian Talk Show, unlocking truth, transcending lives. This week, we will be discussing a very serious topic, one that is full of heartaches, but yet triumph. And that is abuse, delivered, healed. Abused, delivered, healed. This week, to dissect this topic and to share her personal journey is my friend, a powerful woman of God. Might I say a prayer warrior. My close friend, Miss Claudine Dilleon. Miss Dilleon, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here with you.
We are honored to have you. Claudine, talk to us a little bit. Tell us about where you were born and your upbringing.
Okay, so I was born in Clarendon, and a couple months old my mom take me to St. Thomas with the other side of family. That's where I go and make the worst abuse ever, So,
but tell us though, you were born in Clarendon, Jamaica, then you were brought to St. Thomas. So you were living with your mom at that time?
No. My mom just have me, and then when I was 9 months old, that's when she take me to St. Thomas.
And in St. Thomas, did she leave you with a family member or?
Yeah, it should be like my grandmother.
Okay. So you were in St. Thomas at about what age?
Since I was 9 months old.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a baby, I don't know.
So pretty much once your mom had you, then, almost immediately.
Yes, she just shipped me off and then she went. But then, growing up, start to know myself. I remember a time I was back in Clarendon when I was 6 years old. When you're young, you could remember something sometime when I was 6 years old. And then I don't know, again, I see myself again about probably the same 6 years old with one of my aunts. And I was there with my aunt. I don't know when I lived, but I remember this accident that happened over there with my aunt's baby father at the time. I don't know what did I do.
Yeah.
But I know I was hit multiple times in my head with a cheese pan, if you know cheese pan.
It is a metal cheese pan.
A metal cheese pan. At the age of 6 year old, I can remember that. I don't know what I did, but I know I feel the lick in my head.
At 6 years old?
At 6 years old. And at the bottom they have a river, and when I get the hit in my head, he told me to go and catch some water at the pipe. So when I go, not the pipe, at the river, so when I go at the river to bend down to pick up the water in the bucket or the bottle, not sure what was it, I feel something running down on my face. And that when I wiped my face, I realized it was blood. So I dropped the pan and I run back up where he is, and I was saying that I got a cut, and to be honest, I don't...
You were bleeding from the hit you got?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't remember exactly what happened, what did he say after that, but I remember the hit in my head and that blood. So
you were with your grandmother at the time. What was her response? What did she say?
No, at the time, I leave from St. Thomas.
Yeah.
Back to Clarendon.
Okay.
So that's where I went over by one of my aunts.
Okay.
That's where it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I somehow, I'm a kid, I don't remember everything, but I know I was back in St. Thomas again. So I was back in St. Thomas, growing up from 6, coming up. I remember I don't go to school. If I go school maybe on a Monday, I wouldn't go back to school till maybe Thursday. Sometime weeks will pass because she burned coal for a living.
Yeah.
So we were always in the bush with her. So we don't go to school like that, So, you find yourself, back in Jamaica, people say you're dark because we're always in the wood bush. We don't around other kids. We don't celebrate. I don't know what a birthday look like. I don't know. I don't even know when was my birthday. Come to think of it.
You don't know. You're saying that
as a kid, I don't remember somebody say, today's your birthday. I don't remember. I don't remember anyone telling me that.
So you don't know what it is to actually have a birthday celebration, a birthday party?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. No, we have our kids that we say today's your birthday, we get kids, we get
Gifts,
cake
yeah.
and ice cream. I don't remember having that.
Wow. So was that the only instance though of abuse where you got hit in the head and the trauma of that? Did you experience like worse than that, or that was like the worst that you have gone through?
I got through worse than that. I remember my grandmother, at the age of 12, she used to send me to Kingston to a son that she had for money.
Yeah.
I remember going there when I was 12, and I remember, when you start to have your little thing in the chest.
You're talking about breasts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember, he always have women at his house, and I remember I went there a Saturday. I remember clearly I have on this jean shirt, and when I go at the door and knock, he never tell me to come in no other time, but that Saturday, he told me to come inside. And by he said that there's just something come over me that it doesn't feel well.
Yeah.
And when I went inside, he said to me that he's gonna do something to me, and I'm not, don't tell anyone. So I get nervous, cause this is my uncle, what he gonna do to me that I mustn't tell anyone. But then when I came inside, he closed the door, and he has a couch there, and he told me to sit in the couch. So I sit, and then he started to pull the buttons on my shirt, and then he started on my breast, and then he buttoned it back and said, don't say this to anyone. But for some reason, it happened that I never go back. I don't know what happened, but my grandmother never sent me back there. And because of fear, I fear her, because she beats for everything.
Yeah.
If you play, she beat you. If you talk, she beat you. So I grew up with this fear. I remember she had me in the wood bush with her, and then beating was like an hobby for her. As you play, she would whop. Everything is just beating. So her son doing this to me is like, her son was a part of our breadwinner for the family, because I would go to him for money for her. So in myself, I was like, if I tell her, she wouldn't believe me.
Yeah.
And
that possibly could trigger more beating.
Yeah, right? And then he told me not to say anything to anybody, so it was actually fear for myself as well. And I don't know what happened, but I just never go back there.
And after that though, talk to us now about your teenage years coming up, because that took place at 12 years old. 12
years old, 13 years old.
So what was your teenage years like? What was that like, coming up as a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old coming up to your 20s? Or was those years?
Okay, so when I was age 14, my mom and my grandma, that's my mom, they came for me. They came to visit, and then other people, because it's like a big yard, other people would tell them look, you gotta take her down with you, because if you don't, she's gonna die. Based on the abuse, the beating, and not going to school and all these things. There's what other family members see and, go around the corner and say to them. So that's how I leave.
So wait, are you saying that all that time you didn't attend school?
Very weird. Very weird.
So it would have been sporadic, this week, maybe next week.
I never go
to school. But not consistently.
No, I never go to school on a Friday. She always say Friday, nothing going at school.
So did you graduate high school?
No, I did not. I graduated primary school. I didn't take GSAT, the GSAT thing for high school. I didn't take that.
Wow.
Because I didn't go to school much, so I don't even know what to do in an exam, and she didn't send me.
So what were you doing all that time? Was it a case that you were still helping in the bush in terms of the charcoal with you were still helping doing that?
Yeah. So my school days for not going to school was in the bush with her.
And you were still, occasionally you were still experiencing being beaten and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have to cook. I have to wash. I'm telling you, I have to cook her food. I have to wash her clothes and her husband's clothes. I have to wash my clothes. I was so young. I still started to wash when I was 8. And I remember every time I washed the clothes, of course I can't wash. She would go on the line and she would look at them and she just drop them in the dirt. And she said, wash them. I have to take them up, rinse them out, put them back in the pan, wash. And I remember night came down on me. Because every time I cannot wash. They don't have brush in those times. It's corn stick. They don't, there's a thing that she have like a board they call scrubbing board. That's what I have to place the clothes on. Remember, she work in charcoal. So you know these clothes are black. I couldn't wash them. She didn't wash them, she gave them to me.
And you as an 8-year-old would have tried to do your very best in washing them as clean as you could possibly get them. And you put them on the line to dry, and she would come and look at them and then just drop them right in the dirt again.
Yeah, and I have to wash them over and over and over and over and over and over again.
But how did you, in your mind, survive those level of abuse? Like, how did you get through it? How did you get through those times?
To be honest, since I really find my husband, I really get over certain things, because I remember when I was in my late 30s, I was still crying. I can't be by myself.
Even after so many years?
After so many years, it's mentally affect me. I sit back and I cried. You know, and when I left St. Thomas when I was 14 years old, my mom and my grandmother, I was telling you, that came to visit me, and someone said to me, I was so happy when I saw my mom, you know. I was like, wow, I'm going to live with my mom. I feel so good. Remember, I only can remember my mom when I was 14, when she came at that time. She never come to visit me. She just dropped me off, and probably she come I don't know, but I don't know her. It's at the age 14 when she come, I could really look at her and say, wow, that's my mom.
So, I don't mean to cut you so often, but what you're saying to us is so emotionally provoking, because you're saying from the time she would have dropped you off to know that you are 14 years old, she has never come to visit you.
I think she do come, but I don't remember.
You don't remember.
So she didn't spend quality time with me to know that, okay, that's my mom. You know?
So now that you're 14, you're going to live with her. What was that like?
I was so happy. When I saw her, I feel so good, because, you know, I said that, okay, I'm out of abuse now. I'm going to live with my mom. I feel good. Remember, I'm a teenager now, so, you know, I feel good now. So when I come to Clarendon with her, I think that is a bed of rose. Oh, my gosh. She beats me. She told me to spread a bed. Remember, I just come. You never teach me anything. And I have to spread the bed that no wrinkle in it. And if she said a wrinkle in it, she beat me. I remember she bite me on the shoulder. She pull a knife on me. You know, and actually begged me to run away.
You're saying she begged you, your mother?
Say, run away. She said, you want me to say, run away now? Run away. Me not like you. To my face. Then I start to cry again. So, I don't know, man. But then again, you know, it dropped in my spirit many years after what she did to me. I said to myself, sometimes it's a reason why God she gave me up, because in that state when she met me and she wanted to kill me, just imagine if she had me when a baby and she didn't have money or whatever, and she get frustrated, she probably would have hurt me.
So you're saying, and you see, that's a transcend moment right there. You are saying that of all that you have gone through in your early years with your grandmother, to the point that you're now living with your mother, you're saying that it was a good thing that you were there, because chances are, if you had stayed with your mother,
I think she should have killed me.
So even the bad that you went through, you're still grateful for it?
I'm still grateful for my grandmother in St. Thomas, because coming to my mom and the way she treated me, I think if she had me when I was more younger, she would have killed me. I think she suffered maybe depression, I don't know.
But Claudine, you have gone through a lot, man.
A lot. I end up go to another family to live again. So I'm always from family, from homes to homes to homes.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, none of them is good. I look in Kingdom Life and I see so many children there with their mother. And I look at them and I said, these people don't even know how much they are blessed to have their mom right there with them at that age they are. I look at them and I said, I hope they know how much they're blessed.
You see, and that is the reason why Transcenders, we decided to create this platform, because for moments like these, when you think that you don't have anything, when you think that, you know, it can't get any worse, there is a story that is actually worse than yours. And in spite of what you're going through, you're still blessed. But I want to get back to you, Claudine, because I remember in a personal conversation with you, I was talking to you once and you told me you were, at one point, you got a job working in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you told me that. And then from there, I think you said you went to Antigua. Alright, so tell us about that journey now, from your mother's house to working and then to Antigua. Tell us about that.
That journey to Antigua, it was God himself. I spoke to God. I remember when I have my daughter when I was 17 years old. And
so you're a teenage mother as well?
Yes, when I was 17 years old, here coming. I said to myself, Lord, it seems like my thing not going away. I got pregnant when I was 17 and it wasn't easy having a baby, just leaving school. I can't get a job when I'm 17. So, you know, I have to have the baby and then there's no supportive family, no mother, no nothing. And I tell you, I remember being so hungry with that child in my stomach. I remember hungry. The morning come, the night come, and when I couldn't take it no more, I went to my grandmother, which is my mother. I used to go by her and she used to take out her groceries and tie them in a bag, give me, and said, take them, go with them. You know, and then the baby reached at the age of perfection, you know, like maybe about 3 months. I decided to go and work into a bar. Don't know nothing about bar. You know, so I remember when I go to do the first job, they said my stock was short and I didn't get any money. I guess I give away, I don't know, maybe I don't know to serve the rum properly if I give it out, I don't know. But my stock was short, so I learned, and I have a friend that teach me how to do it. And I remember sometime I'll go to work and my daughter don't have anything to go to school, and she said to me, she said, Shauna, because they call me Shauna back home, she said, when time you work, the first money you're supposed to have is your daughter money to go to school. And that licked into my head.
That stuck with you?
That stuck with me, that whatever I make, I have to make sure that my daughter lunch money is there. You know, and then, you know, working in the bar, I get held up by gun. I went, because sometimes I go like other parishes.
So you're a teenage mother, hustling and bustling to provide for your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And you're working in a bar, and you have to be learning the ins and the outs and the do's and the don'ts of the job.
Mm-hmm.
And whilst learning all of that, being a teenage mother, you are held up at gunpoint as well?
At gunpoint. I remember I saw the 2 guys outside. I saw them, you know, but, you know, people passing on the street, and I saw the 2 guys outside. You know, I'm in the bar and I think, but then I saw when they actually come inside the bar. So there was this old man that in the bar, always in the bar. And then I saw the 2 guys then came up. And then they pulled down a mask on their face. Believe me, it's the first I'm seeing mask. I want to see it on the TV. So when I see them, I didn't even know that it was real. All I see was the 2 eyes.
You don't know what's happening.
I don't know. I'm like, what's going on? But when I realized it is real, when they use, one of the guy used the gun and beat the old man in his head.
Wow.
And then I over the counter and I saw the blood rushing down his face. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
so what did they say to you?
They didn't reach me yet. I'm at the corner and freeze. So I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna dead now. So I wanted to move, but I can't move, so it's like I'm freeze. Because I saw the gun, I saw them, so I said if I move, they're gonna shoot me in the back. So I just stand there, and after they finish beat the old man there, they come to me. And I remember one was dark, one was clear. One have on the mask, one have on the hat. The clear one have on the hat, and they pulled the hat in his face. And then he said to me, "Don't look in my face." And I said, "No, I'm not looking." And the tall one, he draped me. Because I board in, so I sleep at the back. And then they take me around the back and they say, "Who are you here?" I said, "I'm alone," but panic, the lady was there. So panic, I said, "I'm alone." But when they take me around there, they could see her in the dark. Because she has some setters in her hair which is reflect. And
reflective.
Right, so they call her out. So now they're not paying me any more attention, they're paying her attention. So I'm still there and they let me go and then they drape her. But the brown one, they always tell us, "Too bad up, you never walk, Trust me. You see the brown one?
Yeah.
He keeps saying, "Come on, no man." And the next one still want to ask her, "Where the money? Where the money?" Because they do take up some money. But they want more. So they see her now, they want more, and the brown one keeps saying, "Come no man." But they always tell her, there's always one, now can't say two persons, but there's a good one with the bad one. Because there's one keeps saying, "Come no man, come no man." And they didn't get the money and they run off.
But I want to ask you something though, and I think I should have asked you earlier on, but nevertheless. What about your child's father at the time? Was he helping in terms of?
He did not own the child. When I got pregnant, he says not his child. He never know me, never see me. And I have to do all it. I'm 17. What can I do?
So, let's backtrack. So, you're saying that this man that got you pregnant, after you're pregnant, he's saying that he doesn't know you, he has never seen you before, he has never had sex with you. It's like the first time he's seen you. This is what you're telling us. Wow.
And he never look at me, never look at me. That's how I bear. And
so how did you deal with that?
And the thing about it, he didn't live far from me. I have to pass his yard to go.
So basically you have to see him every day?
Every day. He never look at me. I remember after a time he went to England, and I have an aunt over there, and my aunt saw him over there, and my aunt had to beg him. I said, "You're not taking care of your child." That's how I get some money from him for about like maybe 2 years, and maybe after that he get deported back to Jamaica, and that was it. So I only get a little support for the child for maybe about 2 years.
But the same man that said,
yeah, it's not his child.
It's not his child. His child.
He end up turn around and says it's his child.
Wow.
Yeah.
I tell you, Transcend, that this is what it's about. Bringing real story to you from real people, because we know that what you are faced with, you're faced with real circumstances. So, Claudine, now after all that ordeal, how did you get to Antigua? Like, why did you decide that, hey, I'm going to make a run for Antigua, I'm going to go and going to see if I can better myself? What led you to Antigua?
Yeah, so, although I reached to Antigua, the struggle was real. I couldn't take it anymore. The bar, it's just real. And I have a small tape that uses a CD, and I have this CD, Jerry Thompson. I think his name pronounced Gerard Thompson, but we call him Jerry Thompson. Yeah. And I used to listen to him. His story, his testimony that he has nothing to do with me. But there's just something about his voice and how he find faith in God and how he worship. I used to listen to the CD every day, and then something from him, equipped me, and I started to listen to it on a daily basis. And I remember I buy an ex-gospel CD, and I started to, sing along and worship. I started to read scriptures, and I started to hold up my head and start praying to God. And I remember I said, "God, please help me to go to a small island." I said, "God, I don't want to go to the big country. I don't want a big country. Send me to a small island." And I remember a couple of years before I prayed that prayer, I have an aunt in the Bahamas, in Antigua and Barbuda. And I went to her mom. There was a time and she came here and she saw me. And I said to her, "Can you help me to come over Antigua?" And she said, "Tell your father to look about your passport. I'm going to help you." And then maybe about 3 years after that, While before, after I start to pray and reach out to God, I start to feel the Spirit, I start to worship, I start learning how to pray.
And that was at what age?
Maybe I was about in my 20s at that time.
So it was at...
Maybe about 21.
So it was round about that age you started to embark on your spiritual journey?
Yes. I started to believe in God. I used to hear about God. I never used to go to church. I know nothing about church. But I just started to listen to that CD. And like I said, he had nothing to do with my story. But just the way he was testifying about he's selling a car. I don't know if you listen to that Jerry Thompson when he talk about a car that he sold and they tried to rob him and the person come to kill him and lucky it wasn't him to answer the door. He has nothing to do with me, but it's just the way how he worship and he find faith in God, you know, and the way he pray. So it lead me to start to worship, and I said if God could help Jerry Thompson, he could help me too.
Wow.
You know, and I start to...
You said that to yourself?
Yeah, I said if he could save Jerry Thompson, because I'm about to die in Jamaica. I'm in a bar every day. Jamaica is getting more serious and serious every day. And I said, if Jerry Thompson said if he did open that door, he would be a dead man today. If that man did pull that trigger on me, I would be a dead woman. So, you know, I said, you know what, God? I need you. I said, God, help me. I want to go to a small island. And I tell her, years after, out of the blues, she called me. And she called me and she said, Shauna, you still want to come to Antigua? I said yes. I was so frightened because it was a phone call. I said yes. And she said, you can buy your ticket Sunday and come. Look about the police record. I said yes. And then I hang up the phone. I'm like, what did I just say? I'm going to Antigua? Like, you know, like I'm shocked. You know, because...
So you said yes, but it's almost as if you weren't even listening to yourself.
Yeah. You know, so when I hang up the phone, I like, okay. I remember praying to God about going to a small island. I said, God, could this be? You know, and then when she said that, I said, but I used to save money. I always put away something.
So you were always saved?
Always saved, because I don't know, maybe I know that I was going to go. And then when she said, I bought the ticket and I go to Antigua. And when I reached to Antigua, I think it was a bed of rose. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I tell you, my struggle, my pain never end. It end now. And my pain only end because I'm married. When I just got saved, I wasn't living any good life. I'm telling you the truth. Until I said, God, I need a husband. I said, God, if you give me a husband, I'll be obedient. I'll listen to you. I'll humble. Because I want to flee from fornication. Because that's what the thing mashing up a lot of young people today. Fornication. I said, God, I want to flee from it. I prayed in Antigua. After I do so many years, I prayed in Antigua. I said, God, if you bring me I do this testimony at church. I said, if you bring me to Canada, I will repent, I will serve you. I did this at church. And I tell you, every single thing that I prayed for, today, I see it all fall in place. Life is a journey. Life is a journey. You just have to believe, humble, and pray. Never leave out God out of nothing that you do. Never leave out God. A lot of people say there's no God. God is for real. Because I know I never go to no man to pray about all these things that I have. I look up like this and I say, God, if you don't do this, I don't know who's going to do it for me. It's the same God that brought me through today. I'm married, to tell you today, and I'm so at peace.
Wow.
I'm so at peace.
But after you would have talked to God and you asked him to go to Antigua, you're saying that's where your trouble even got worse?
Worse. I went to an aunt over there, and I'm telling you, I got you hell.
But
At one point, I said, I'm going back home.
You decided and you're going back to Jamaica?
One point, I'm going back home. I already go and upgrade the ticket. I'm going back home. And someone said to me, said, don't go.
How long did you spend in Antigua?
12 years.
12 years.
But I moved out from that home. Went somewhere, got a job. I worked in that company for all the time that I was there, all 12 years. I worked in that security company. And when it get too much, this is when I go back to God. I said, God, I know I asked you to bring me to a small island, but I said, God, it's not working out. Help me to go to Canada. I even tell him the country.
So, like, how did you come up with that country? Why not America? Why not UK?
I don't know.
You just said Canada.
I don't know. And I could go to UK, I could go to America, because I have my US visa. But I said, I have a friend over here named Powell, Gwendolyn Powell, beautiful woman. She's the one. So and she's a friend. And I said, and I just come up and I said, God, I know I have 3 options, but I said, God, help me to go to Canada. I said, God, if you bring me to Canada, and if you find me that husband, I'm going to repent. I'm going to baptize. And I live up to the end of the bargain.
So all that time, you wanted that stable lifestyle. You wanted a good family, a structure around you. You wanted a good godly life. You wanted a husband. You wanted to serve God the right way. You wanted, and all that time you were still dealing with those hurt and those trauma that was bottled up from your younger days to the point that you're at. So how did Canada work out? How did you actually get to Canada, and how did you meet your husband? Tell us about that journey.
I was working at a place when I just came to Canada. I worked there like for a year and something. And some reason the leader for the team, he and I have a little thing, and they let me off.
They let you go?
They let me go. And I remember when they let me go, I start to cry. I go home and I go in on the road and I start to cry. I said, God, they fire me, where am I going to get a job? Not knowing that God saw that if I stay at this place, I wouldn't have found him. So sometimes when we're too comfortable, because I was comfortable,
ooh,
God just shift it.
That's a word. That's a word. God just shift it. So what you thought was a disappointment, it was divine setup.
I was crying. I said, God, where am I gonna get a job? And I don't even know that God was just messing up things just for me to live here.
Whoa, transcenders. God will mess you up to fix you up. Go ahead, Claudine. Forgive me, I'm just being ministered to right now. Yeah. So you're saying that God messed up the job that you were on?
Messed it up. I went to a next place again to work, and then they said get slow and then move me again, and I remember a time I was so hungry with God. I said, God, I baptized, I'm serving you, what do you want from me? I was arguing with him.
That's how you were talking to God?
I'm telling you the truth. I said, God, what do you want from me? What am I supposed to do? And then after, the agency called me again and they sent me to a next location. And then we were there working. And then they transferred, we were in North York. And then they transferred us to Brampton. And right there.
It was right there you met.
It was right there.
So tell us now about your first encounter with the great Mr. Dilleon, your husband. What was that like? And did you know off the bat that this was your husband to be? Talk to us.
I never know. I at the location, of course I don't drive. And I remember asking another guy for a ride to get to the bus station. And I remember, I think I was running late for him, and he asked my husband, before he was my husband, like he said, that young lady, she asked me for a ride, but I can't wait on her, I have to go somewhere. Could you drop her at that point for me?
Ooh, divine setup again!
Yeah, and the rest is history.
And the rest is history. So you got one ride from him. Wasn't supposed to go with him, with somebody else, but that person couldn't take you.
Couldn't take me. You see, I tell you, sometimes if you just watch how God moves sometime, if you could just humble before God and just watch how God move on your behalf. It's so amazing. Sometimes you look back and you just smile and say, God, that must be you.
Well, you know something about your story, because I've heard your story before, and one of the things that I found so amazing about all that you have been through is the fact that many people would have gone through what you went through and would question if there is a God, and would wonder, if God loves them. But you, in all of what you went through, it's almost as if you sought to draw closer to God.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I love Jesus. Because like I said, I don't have brothers. I don't have sisters. I don't have a mother. I don't have a father around me. It was just me and God. Bishop preach again in church. It is personal. There's a lot of things I have to go to God. I cannot ask nobody to go to God for me. I have to go to God myself. Because in my mind, I feel if I tell you certain things, you're going to tell your wife. You'll probably tell somebody who's closer to you. But when I tell God, I know it's between me and God. It's not like I don't believe in people praying for me, but there are certain things I cannot tell a human.
You have gone through so much. You have gone through beatings. You have gone through verbal abuse. You have gone through physical abuse. Even sexual abuse.
Hold on, I got to tell you about one more too. Remember?
There's more?
Yes.
Oh,
when I tell you about the one that with the shirt,
yeah,
there was a brother of him too. I remember my grandmother used to send me to shop, and he have a bicycle. So the journey is so far, the sun is so hot sometimes, and I remember I used to borrow his bike to go to the shop. But as a kid, he said to me that one day you have to give me something. So I didn't know what he mean by give him something. So I said, so I remember saying to him, okay, one day I will give you, not knowing he was thinking something else. So I remember a time I was in a room, and he came into the room and said, do you remember what you said you have to give me? And I said, what? And he said, remember when you borrowed the bike, you said you have something to give me? So I said, I don't have it now, and I remember he held me down. But for some reason, he didn't got me on the bed. I was on the floor, and I remember when he held me on the floor, and a little bit disturbing, when he held me on the floor, I was fighting. I was maybe about 9 at the time, maybe 9, 10. And he was a grown man already have his child, and he held me down on the floor. And it was only God himself that gave me that strength to push him off me. And by the time I get him off me, because he was trying to get my underwear down, and at the same time he was trying to pull his pants. But I think because of anxiety, what happened, by the time I push him off, I get that strength to push him off. I don't know where I get that strength, but when I push him off, and when I look on the floor, I see all that white thing. I didn't know what it was. Until I grow up, I know that that's a discharge. So I'm telling mothers out there, believe your child. If your child come and tell us something, don't let your child have to grow up in fear that things happen to them and they are afraid to tell you. Believe, have a relationship with them. You have to have a relationship, because I grew up in fear that I couldn't go to nobody. I couldn't go to my grandmother because I was so afraid of her. So you have to grow your child that they can come to you and relate. I have 2 daughters, and my younger daughter that you met, Minister, I told her when she's small, I said, don't let no one touch here and here. I point them out. I said, anyone do it, tell me. Because this is where it starts. I said, you have grown man would offer you sweeties, because kids love candies.
Yeah.
Don't take anything from nobody. I tell her that all the time. Do not. Because this is how they get to you.
And this is because of all that you have gone through. But how did you process that hurt? How did you manage to bring yourself through all that you have gone through? Because just hearing all that you have gone through, it's almost too much. It's almost too much to even imagine. Not to even mention live through, but just to imagine it, it's just so much. How did you bring yourself through that?
I don't know. When I have my daughter, and I realize the motherhood. Like when my daughter have a flu, when I take her to the clinic to get her shots, And when she had that fever and that cold and that sick, and when I held her in my arms, and I reflect back on myself, and I said, who used to hold me? You know, because I could feel my daughter, feel the pain. And I said, as a kid growing up, who used to hold me like this? When I have a cold, who used to, you know? So, you know, it was so much. So because of that, my two daughters, oh my gosh, I love them so much. My daughter is 25, and I still spoil her. She's my little baby girl. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Shanice.
Happy birthday, Shanice. You know, it is something that is so emotional because I had the opportunity to meet your daughters. I was on a missionary work in Antigua, and I had the opportunity of meeting both daughters of Claudine. And can I tell you, those two girls, they love you.
Oh yeah.
Man, they love you, especially the younger one.
The younger one.
She spoke so highly of her mom, and it just speaks to the character of who you are and all that you have gone through and where you have brought, where you stand today. You are a walking testimony.
Yeah, yeah.
You're almost like a Teflon Don. A bounce, like no matter what the devil throw at you, you're able to withstand it. So Claudine, you found healing for all that you have gone through your faith in God. Tell us about your husband, the role that he's playing now in your life, the happiness that you have found. Tell us about that journey.
My husband, he's sent from God himself. Because like I said in my testimony at church, I prayed, I said, God, even if he's older than me. I remember telling God that. I said, God, if you bring me to Canada, I said, God, I asked you to find me a husband. I said, God, even if he's older than me. And it's an older man I get for sure. I always tell people, careful what you pray for.
You might very well get it.
You will get it.
But you know, the critical thing though, it's not what you want. It's what God wants.
God wants.
So even though, you know, you said, God, even if it's an older man, it's almost as if you're saying to God, God, just as long as it is a man that is sent from you.
Yes. I remember I said, God, because at the time I didn't save. So I didn't know I should pray for somebody that already saved. So I remember I don't know nothing about the church and things.
Yeah.
So if I was saved and I was reading the Bible, I would have said, God, make sure he's a saved man that already saved and serving you. So because me not knowing God, I said, knowing about the church thing and how to think, I said, God, even if he's not saved, but he must love you and fear you. I remember saying that to God.
Well, you know, one of the things I admire with you though, Claudine, is that even though you weren't saved at the time, and even though you don't know much about God at the time, you always talk to God still. You always.
He was like my best friend. I could relate to him, and I could actually like feel him around me. You know, I know that God was with me. You know, I was in the world and I used to have phone. I used to download like the Vice Cartel and all these songs. Sometimes I like them. And naturally, I would hear the Spirit said to me, delete them.
And you weren't even saved yet.
I wasn't saved.
And you heard something.
I naturally hear the Spirit said, delete them, and I follow. I delete them. I used to only have gospel and like R&B, like love songs on my phone. So, you know, if a time came up now that I hear some kind of song and I have it on my phone, the Spirit always tell me to delete them. So they never stay on my phone too long. So I know that God have a purpose for me. You know, they say, who the Lord loveth is chasing after. And I strongly believe that God, as you know, because when your father and mother forsake you, then the Lord will take you. Because God has me back then for so many years. It was God kept me throughout the years. Just remember where I'm coming from. How many things I got saved from. I remember a time I went to shop, and me and my little cousins, and the road was right here and the shop is here. And we were there watching them playing domino, the grown man playing domino. And then I was younger. And then something said, just look up the street. And by the time I look up the street, I saw my cousin them running away, leaving me. They were playing. You know, because we're a kid. They're trying to run to hide me, but it's night, right? And by the time I saw them, I don't remember to look up nor down. And by the time I head, all the thing I hear, Papa! I was this close from the truck.
Truck that was coming.
Coming full speed. Only thing I hear, Papa, and I don't even look. What color truck? All I know, I saw straight across and I was up the road running. I didn't even realize that I was almost dead. Because I just saw my cousin them running away, leave me.
But you know what? You can't kill purpose.
Can't kill purpose. That's what I believe. So many things that I escape from, but it's only God himself. I learned to talk to God like, I don't know, it just comes so natural. I'm in my room talking to myself. Sometimes I'm walking and I'm talking to myself, and by the time I catch myself, I look around and see if I see anyone, because they probably say, this one going crazy. You know, but they don't even understand the relationship that I have with him, because I relate to him for everything.
And everything. You were not going to church?
I wasn't going to church. But somehow, I grew up knowing God. Never saved or anything, but knowing to have a relationship with him from ever since. I never said Jesus, I used to say God. Because, you know, I don't know much. But all I know, I used to say, God, help me. God, this, God. God, I don't have any money for my child to go to school. How am I going to get it? God, help me now, God. I was always talking to him. Just imagine I'm 17 with a little baby. Bouncing from bar work to bar work. Migrated to a small island. You think small island easy to survive? We work an 8-hour shift. Sometimes we're on the location for 10 hours, 12 hours, and we do not get paid for those extra hours. I cried tears on that compound so many times. I said, God, when are you gonna fix this for me, God? We work from paycheck. The money can't even pay your bills. So in the small island, a lot of people in the small island, it's not easy. That's why you find so many beggars, and you find men use them, because the money that they work for, it cannot pay the bills.
Yeah.
So they have to seek somebody to help with the rent and with the light bill. It's not easy in a small island. It's not easy.
Yeah. Now you're in Canada, you said to God that, God, if you bless me with a husband, I think you said, if you bless me with a husband, then, you know, I'll serve you.
But then when I came to Canada, I decided to say, look, you know what? I'm going to step in with faith. Didn't see the husband. I came to Canada in June, and I got baptized. I repented and baptized in August. And I said, God, I step in with faith. Here I am. Everything. I said, God, work on my behalf.
So let's put this into order, or in perspective. You're saying that you met your husband prior to getting saved or after getting saved?
After getting saved.
After getting saved. Yeah. Okay, good. And when you made that faith step towards God, that's when God rewarded you with a husband. And how has it been since?
That's the best thing that ever happened to me. Mr. Dilleon, trust me, he is a good man. Quiet, humble, just the way you see him. That's it, he's the same person who. He's the same person who is a provider. He cares for me. He cares for my children. I have a little grandson. Yes, I have a grandson. And I don't even know, we get to know his name every time we FaceTime. And I do like this. You say, Grandma, where's Davan? Where's Davan?
And he's referring to your husband?
To my husband.
But isn't it funny though, of all the abuse that you have suffered throughout your life, of all the things that you have gone through, God has now put a man in your life that loves you,
love me unconditionally,
respect you, would not lay a finger on you.
Oh no. Oh no.
Unless it's in love.
You see, he told me, anywhere I want to go, you would never say no. You would never say no. He said, okay.
It's okay.
Okay. Very good, man.
With all that you have gone through, encourage somebody that might be going through trauma or abuse right now. Tell them, let them know that there is hope. Say something to them, just to encourage them.
To anybody out there, anybody at all out there that going through, because sometimes I think that my situation is worse. I know worse than me is out there. Worse than me is out there. And I just advising you today, if you have children, boy or girl, listen to them. Listen to them. It doesn't matter what. You probably not believe them, but listen, pay attention. If they tell us something, just open your eyes. You don't have to react same time, but open your eyes and watch. Be vigilant. You understand? Because there's a lot of things happen to we as kids out there, because I'm a victim. I'm a victim of abuse. I'm a victim of verbal abuse too, because I have family that speaks some words over me, tell that I will never be good. I'm gonna be just like your mother. I won't even mention what my mother is today. But I have family members that look at me and tell me that you're gonna be just like your mother. But I didn't know God at the time to rebuke them. But now I can send it back in the pit of hell because I'm a better woman today. I repent, I know God. So if anybody out there that going through the same thing or worse than me, look to God, the author and the finisher of your faith. Wow. Only God can help you. Man cannot help you. It got to be Jesus. There's a lot of people out there, they believe in God, but don't just believe. Just do it. Just step with faith. Step in faith. Because believe me, God is for every one of us. He's already inside of you. All you have to do is open up your mouth and speak it into being. Speak life into your situation. God is for real. God is, I'm telling you today, God is for real. Repent, baptize, and give it all to Jesus. He's there. All you have to do, He already knows your heart, He knows what you're going through, but you have to open up your mouth. If you don't open up your mouth, it won't happen. Open up your mouth and say, God, here I am. I'm a sinner. I need to save by grace. Speak it. And you will get delivered. A lot of people out there need to be delivered. But you have to open up your mouth.
Yep.
You have to.
Yep. And if you are a victim of abuse, don't just keep it to yourself. Talk to somebody. Say to somebody. Seek help. I wanna ask you one final question. Claudine, with all that you have gone through and where you are at now, can you truly say that you have forgiven everybody that would have hurt you in the past?
Oh yes, especially my mother. I never hate her, but the things, every time I reflect on the things that I go through, and then when I get to come to hear that my mother wasn't poor, she have all this money, could have helped me, I used to have this kind of bitterness. And I remember a lady said to me that forgiveness is not for her, it's for you. So I have to learn to forgive. I have to go to God for God to let it out. I have to go to God Himself and say, God, please help me. And believe me, prayer work. I do pray and it release. There's nobody that do me anything today. I have them here. I live to see. I pray for everybody that hurt me. Everybody that hurt me, I say, God, if there's something over their life, deliver them. Because so many people are fighting so many spirits around them. The Bible says we don't wrestle against with flesh and blood. You know, it's the spirit in dark places, and you have a lot of spirit around people that do evil things. And you have to pray and ask for deliverance.
So you are saying that one of the things that help you to forgive those that would have hurt you, you understand that it's not them in particular.
It's not them.
It's the evil spirit that works around them.
It's the spirit around them. Because like I said, with my mother, I used to think that my mother was so and so. And after she pulled the knife and bite me, I realized that is a reason why she gave me up. God allowed her to give me up because I would have died. Because there's no way in her mind she don't ready for a child. And me coming to wear her down and get in her way, she would have hurt me. My mother just want to let loose.
But all those folks in your past, do they look at you now with all the negativity that they spoke over your life? Now, where you are at now, do they try to reach out to you?
Oh yes. Oh yes. There's so many people reach out to me. I'm so proud of you because I know where you're coming from. And I said, thank you. It's Jesus. When I tell them the answer, I said, it's Jesus. I said, thank God for the blood.
You actually talk to them?
Yes, I said, thank God for the blood. I remember a time, I give you a quick story. I working in the bar and my grandmother have a house and I buy some block and cement and I decided that I'm going to build a 1-bedroom for myself because I realized I have nobody, so I'm going to make myself a house. And the morning when I get somebody to come and build out the foundation for me, there's a whole lot of family come down and tell me no house can't build, yeah, no more house. And I have to stop it and I have to wash the gravel, the cement, everything. I just look at them and just leave them. And I live to see the same families. I'm so proud of you. Yeah. And I said, it is Jesus. It is Jesus. Thank God for the blood. He have saved me. He have washed me. You think if I never know God, I would answer them so good? After I spend all that money to buy all those things, I know that you stopped me. I said, thank God for Jesus.
Wow.
I remember a time again in Antigua, I saved my money. Because like I said, no mother, no father. I saved my money. And somebody in Jamaica tell me that they know that there's a land selling for a good price. I say, how much for it? And the person tell me the price. And I work at that time, I used to work night shift. And I see, and I used to, they call it in Antigua, they call it box, but it's partner we call. And I save up the money, and I send the money 3 times to buy the land. I never get the land. Until today. The land never buy. So I get robbed, I get abused. But you know what? God is with me. They take everything from me, but they cannot take Jesus from me. They cannot take him from me. I have him here. You take my money, you do everything to me, but you cannot take my Jesus from me. He's right here. He's my comforter. All that happened to me, I still have Jesus. And that's all that matters. Because all these things on earth, they are earthly things. I look to the eternal God for everything. And I know, he tell you, when they do your bad thing, I'm going to get my repay, you know. I'm going to get it. Through Jesus Christ of Nazareth, I'm going to get it.
Claudine, where you're at now, are you happy?
I'm happy. I'm comfortable. I'm at peace. You know what? I tell my husband this. He didn't save me. It was God saved me. It was God saved me. Because as you can see that my husband is an older man than me. So if it was my husband saved me, I would have still out there doing things. I'm married. I never seen another man. I never even touched another man. I never had a conversation with another man. This was God. So my husband didn't save me. He's a part of the saving because he helped me to flee from fornication. But it was God saving me.
Oh my, I love that. Claudine, I want to tell you thanks for taking this opportunity to share your story. A powerful one it is. You are indeed a true reflection of what it is to pass through the worst that life can possibly throw at a person and come out at the end of it being victorious.
Yes.
So I want to say thank you. We are indeed humbled that you decided to come on this platform and to share your story. Claudine, thank you. We appreciate you for coming on to Transcend, the Thinking Christian Talk Show. Unlocking truth, transcending lives. And there you have it, folks. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Transcend, the Christian Thinking Talk Show. Unlocking truth and transcending lives. If you are a victim of abuse, once again, I'll invite you, find somebody, a professional, and just talk to them. Remember to like, share, and to subscribe. Remember, click subscribe right here down below. Until next time, walk good and God bless.